Hello.
Hello, hello.
Happy Friday, right? It's Friday.
Fun Friday.
Woo, Friday.
Friday.
I learned that from Meaghan.
This is my favorite phrase.
Well, welcome back to our Wellness Check Ask the Trainer edition. I'm Coach Alana and this is Coach Meaghan.
Hello.
So come on in, hop on, ask us some questions. We've got some questions, answers ready for you. But Meaghan, you want to remind everyone about the word of the day?
Absolutely. Word of the day ends tomorrow. It is our giveaway that we've been doing for the past 2 weeks. If you send me an email with the word, you'll be entered in to win a raffle prize of 3 different prizes that you can win. And we have a digital food scale you can get, a mobility kit that you can get, which after today's Ask the Trainer you might really want, and resistance band pack that you can get too. So make sure you email the word of the day and we will tell you it at the end. We also have, so tomorrow we are bringing back work at 9 a.m. with Coach Amy. Woo!
Let's go to work.
work. And we have cycling at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Coach Sarah tomorrow. And our new weekly schedule comes out tomorrow, and we have a full new lineup of classes. We have a lot more classes this upcoming week, so stay tuned for that tomorrow as well. Woo!
I'm excited, Meaghan.
Me too. It's a great
Get
Friday.
up bright and early and come on in.
Yeah. You'll see both me and Alana here.
Woo, yes. We will help you get ready for class. We will be cheering you on.
We won't be participating in work, but we will definitely watch.
All right, so we did get a question about personal training.
We did.
So we're going to talk a little bit about personal training, and then did you want to start with just kind of a brief overview of training, and then you want me to answer the question about the inspiration? Okay.
Yeah, so if you are a member and you haven't been in or even haven't used your free complimentary sessions that you get when you enroll into TMMK Fitness, make sure you use those. You get 5 free sessions. That first one is an assessment. They're just talking about your goals. We'll actually be in this room that we're in right now, talking about what you want to get out of sessions, and then you have 4 that you can just use. So we have those, and we also have sessions that you can buy, which we have that brochure here in the gym. And let's go ahead and answer that question.
Okay, awesome. So a big question that I know a lot of you guys have been asking is, what happened to if you had current training before the closure, if you had some open-ended sessions. During the closure, where some of us were still working, we worked on pushing those expiration dates back, and because we still weren't sure what the timeline was and when we reopened. We now have officially got everything pushed back to at least October, and some in November, depending on what package you had and where your previous expiration date was. So if you have a question about your specific package, your trainer should be reaching out to you here shortly this week to make sure you know where you're at with your sessions. But also you can feel free to call us at 502-868-3820, and we will help you with your specific account questions. But we are hopefully excited you guys are coming back in and getting in those training sessions. We've got a great training space upstairs for you guys to work with you. We even have the group exercise studio. I've actually been using that with a lot of my clients. It's a little cooler, a little bit more airflow. So we're going to make it fit for you and try to make it the best experience we can while you're in here with us.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started today. Go ahead and post your questions below if you have any. But we're going to go ahead and answer some that are kind of common that are here in the center when just members come up to us and ask us in the staff area and stuff. So the first one is, why is foam rolling so important?
Meaghan, I love getting to answer this question.
Yes.
Because I love foam rolling. But it's not the only tool you can use to kind of get yourself ready for your workout. So what's great about foam rolling is it can be used like pre-workout and post-workout. So I love using it for like beginning my workout to get my body mobile and ready for the work I'm about to put it through. So using it specifically for certain muscle groups based on what you're working. But it's basically getting those muscles ready. It's kind of helping you create new range, get some blood flow going, get oxygen moving in through the body. And it's also great for post-exercise too, because it helps you loosen that tightness you just created and help the body kind of loosen up. So that way you don't wake up with a hamstring cramp or something catching you the next day.
Yeah.
So since we got you on here, we're gonna show you a few things too. So this is a very active session as well.
We got a couple of tools.
Yes, so this one actually is a little bit where it's got the foam on it, so you guys can see here. So there's different levels too of foam rollers. So we just have the basic kind of generic one here. But one of my favorite stretches or foam rolling techniques is the glutes on the foam roller. This can also be done with a lacrosse ball, a softball, but once you kind of get into those types of tools, it's more of a progression. So this is a nice starting foam roller. There are some tougher densities. Like I have a couple that have some different ridges on there, so you really have to pick the one that's going to fit best for you. It shouldn't be painful. We're just trying to gradually move the body, and even applying some heat before will actually help get the muscles warm too. So let me show you from this side view. We're just going to roll back and forth. We're going to place the foam roller kind of at the top of the glutes. We're just coming right below the hip and just rolling back up nice and easy like that.
So how long should they do that for each muscle, Alana?
So really, it's part of it is depending on how much time you have for your workout, how much what you're wanting to do. But I typically like to generally do about 10 passes. You could say about 30 to 60 seconds.
Awesome.
And you also can go through each technique you're doing more than once too. So depending on if you have about 10-15 minutes, go through some of these twice just to get a little bit deeper each time. I will say that with the glute stretch, so I like to take it a little further. I like to cross one leg over to help open up those glutes a little bit more, so I can put a little bit more pressure on that glute, okay? Now I'm starting to feel some more of my knots, but I'm also gonna add a stretch here by pulling that knee in. It's lengthening the glutes where they insert and originate on the hips, okay? So you can pull in and lengthen and get a little bit deeper in that glute stretch on that foam roller. Same thing with the softball and the lacrosse ball, although these are going to be a little bit tougher, so you have to be really careful and apply a little bit of pressure at a time. So with the softball, this is the hardest version out of 3. So next would be the lacrosse ball and the softball. You really want to use your upper body and lower body a little bit to help with that pressure, but then once you're more comfortable, you can either lay on it, you can do it against the wall to make it a little bit easier. So there's different techniques to make these work for you in your workout and where your level is and that comfort level to help loosen those knots. I'm a big advocate for mobility because I notice how much it helps me and just massage therapy in general, how much it just helps your body for as much as we put our bodies through, like massage, mobility, all this stuff, stretching is key to help keep you going, okay?
Yes.
And we're trying to break the injury cycle here as well.
Yes. I think it's also important to know, I feel like a lot of people only foam roll their lower body,
Okay.
but you can also do your upper body. It's great to prepare for, upper body workout, getting it loose, because those muscles are tight as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. There's tons of different ones. I can actually show one real fast in the foam roller too, that will kind of give you guys a little different outlook as far as different things you can do with this stretch. But you'll probably see a lot of people doing one where they take the foam roller on their mid back and then they roll up towards the top of their shoulders. So we actually were in a meeting recently, and Sarah, Coach Sarah, I'm sure she won't mind, she mentioned just with her biomechanics and her structure, this one is really hard for her to feel on her upper back, your rhomboids, your lats, your traps. So if you actually grab, you kind of give yourself a nice little hug, just love yourself here, give yourself a hug. It's going to open those shoulder blades, okay? Open that back, and you're going to rock back and forth, roll back and forth, taking deep breaths in, and you're going to be able to get a little bit more pressure and target that area with that foam roller back there. But you also can do different moves. You can roll the lats individually. There's tons of different ones. If you have a specific muscle tightening you up today, let us know, and we can show you a mobility exercise while we got you here today.
yes, comment below. Let us know. Alrighty, so going off of that, how long, I think a common one is how long should a warm-up be, or do I even need a warm-up? I think Alana addressed it a little bit earlier. Yes, to prepare your body, it helps open that range before you work out, and it helps break that injury cycle. And typically for me, I know my warm-up is typically 5 to 10 minutes, but it can even be longer. I don't know if you have a little bit of a difference with that.
Yeah, for me it's about, I would say at least 10.
Okay.
Could even be 20 sometimes. And part of that too is your timing again, like we talked about last week, how much time you have for your workout. But that's why, finding these different techniques and doing even static stretching is great for your workout too, because it's helping isolate and target that tight muscle. So we're trying to create new range and kind of address that short and tightened muscles. Essentially, if you think about your hands crossing here, When you're working them out, we are just stretching, we are just overworking them, and they get knotted up. So that's also why it's important to stretch at the end of your workout as well. But like for example, running. So we want to do some sort of mobility, right? Choosing a couple of different mobility exercises that you like, some of your favorites. A lot of a go-to one is a quad stretch. I see a lot of people doing a quad stretch to really address the quads and the hip flexors. Even doing like a hamstring, a split leg hamstring stretch, just to open up the hamstrings on the back of the leg and moving through that at your level. But it's also going to be great to do some like foam rolling with it too. Yeah. So doing some different things to mix it up, but get your body ready for work. So something you probably have heard us talking about recently is MAD. So it's shortened for mobility, activation, and dynamic. So before that workout, the reason why your warm-up could take 10 to 20 minutes, again, depending on your time, what you're working on for that day. You can even do this MAD on your active recovery days or different times, so you can really focus and highlight on that area. Quarantine, honestly, that's something that I was really trying to coach my clients on a little bit, was that this is a great time to really focus on those things that we tend to put off on the side a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of forget as far as, getting to really do that proper warm-up. Some people just kind of get going, which works great for some people, but, we have to think about the longevity, too, of our body in the long run. So it's helping take care of us for the future. But after you kind of do that mobility, we want to activate those weakened muscles. So kind of target areas, a big one is the glutes with the hips. So people will do in squats. When you do a squat, it's meant to be glute dominant. So sometimes people will feel it in their knees, some people will feel it in their back. We really want to activate those glutes. So really by sending those hips back first in that squat is actually activating those glutes and helping them work with you in that squat, versus sometimes we'll see a lot of people bringing those knees forward first. So if we actually get the neutral hip, keep those feet like shoulder width apart, screw to the floor, and we lead with those hips first, we are activating those glutes, getting them ready for work. So that's that first 10 degrees in that squat needs to come from that hinge to really help activate those glutes. So sometimes they don't get worked as well, or are kind of inactive in some moves, because we tend to put a little more pressure in the front of our legs. But by keeping the core tight, activate the core, and including that in your warm-ups, get the core moving, get it ready. It's your powerhouse. If you think about it, we use it in almost everything, right? And so I take fault of that. Sometimes I will skip core a little bit just because I'm like, well, I work it in squats and deadlifts.
See, I'm the opposite. I will do core all day, every day, because I love it. But I think different ways that we can add that. So when we're talking about MAD, different ways you can get the glute activated. And when we say that, we want you to feel your work in the glute. You want to, when you squeeze it, that's when it's working. So different ways that you can do that with resistance bands too. So even adding those foam rollers into your workout, that mobility part, that activation, doing some glute bridges will get that glute a little bit more activated, or a single leg glute bridges, something like that. And then of course the core you mentioned. So planks, dead bugs are awesome.
Dead bugs.
And then kind of moving into a little bit more of a dynamic focus. So I think you see a lot of our trainers, especially during group exercise, do inchworms or otherwise called walkouts when they warm up, because you're activating, basically your total body. You're getting that core warmed up, you're squeezing those glutes in that plank. You can even add a push-up in there and warm up that chest a little bit.
And with dynamic, you can get really creative. We can make a wonderful flow of adding different pieces. So sometimes with that inchworm, for example, that's one of Meaghan and I's favorite.
Love it.
Because especially with, you're just hitting everything, getting everything warm. So we'll add a spider lunge, we'll add a rotation, chest opener, get the spine moving. Like she said, push up. We could add an arm reach. Add a thread the needle. Really, whatever you're needing to target, you can add that into those exercises.
And that'll get your blood flowing, your heart ready to work, all those good things. So we do have a question. First of all, hey Sarah, will there be a volleyball league?
Ooh, that is a great question.
Great question.
That is definitely something that we'll talk with our recreation coordinator, Patrick, about. So that'd be something, we don't want to speak to that quite just yet, just because that's something that we haven't heard or mentioned, so we don't want to say something that is wrong. So we want to make sure we're giving you the right information. But disc golf is coming.
Disc golf is coming.
But definitely let us know if there's some more interest in the volleyball league. So that's something that definitely, when we have interest in things, that's when we really start rolling with it. So we will definitely mention that to Patrick, our recreation coordinator, so he can hopefully get the ball rolling with that.
Oh, good. And pickleball has started up.
Oh, yes.
Pickleball open gym. Patrick has done an awesome job of making sure people are able to stay distance. Only singles are going on right now, but it's still super fun if you haven't played pickleball. Try it out and then come by and try our disc golf course as well. We are able to show you where it starts and take you around the course. It's pretty awesome. Me and Alana have both had the chance of walking around, and it's
Meaghan may have
pretty
been more graceful than myself. I went into a few of those, what are those called? The
bushes?
Well, Jack called them like stick ties or something.
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
sure. But I just was covered in them. So you have to be careful, wear some comfortable clothes.
Yes.
Go in a cooler time of the day. But it was really great fun to try. It's a great family kind of adventure, I think. So even though it's not one of my skill sets, I still love to do that and try something new. And also you get to be outside on the trail, and it's beautiful out there. So come on in and give it a try.
Yeah, so we definitely are trying to get more recreation sports going. It's just gotta take time kind of easing into things. Nice. Just like you need to ease into your workout. Not yet, slowly warming it up. Tying it all back in. Alright, anything else you got for today, Alana?
Well, one thing, I don't know if anyone else had mentioned or if they wanted to give us a little shout of something that they wanted us to work on a mobility move with them. But what's your favorite mobility stretch, Meaghan?
You mentioned it, and I love the spider lunge.
Okay.
It is my favorite before running. It's my favorite before leg day.
I will say, yes, that is. I love that one mainly for the hip opening.
Very tight.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I would say I probably use the lacrosse ball and the softball the most. Softball is great to really target the hamstring too. So you can get it up in there, lay on it, get some of those knots.
Even while you just did it, even while you're sitting like at your office chair or something, and you want to grab like a softball or lacrosse ball because you got to work, and we're working people, just stick it under there and roll it around and loosen it up if you want to save some time before workout.
No judgment-free zone. You're just sitting there in a chair, you're just getting comfortable, right? But also, we didn't bring one up today, but like a hand roller, an AccuStick. I really have enjoyed using that on my traps. That is one that it is helpful having someone else to help you, but really helping work those traps because a lot of us get a little too comfortable here. We want to try to open that chest up. But I even like using it on the back of my legs because sometimes for me the hamstrings and glutes are really hard for me. I have just some deep knots and I just have to really try to work through it. So it's really helpful to be able to use that as well. So you can lay on your back, lift your leg up, and use that roller to work those hamstrings. I think we got a new question, Maria. Ooh, let's see what we got.
Ooh.
Is it best to do the same moves to warm up or mix it up based on what you're working that day?
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes we do get into a comfortable place, so we do a lot of the same things. It's not necessarily wrong, but it is good to try some new different things added to your warm-up. So depending on if you're coming in 3 days a week, if you've got, say, upper body Monday, legs Wednesday, full body Friday, or whatever your structure is, targeting your upper body workout with your upper body warm-up exercises, lower body the same, and then having a good mixture for that full body. That's it. I do have some favorite ones I go through, but it is good to add some new ones in and target some kind of the smaller fine-tuned muscles too that we don't really think about a whole lot, especially like the rotator cuff. We've got 4 tiny little muscles in there that sometimes we don't quite really work, but there is the most mobile joint in the body, so we got to make sure we are taking care of each component. So I'm kind of big on. I actually am probably one of the few females that love chest work, and I like doing that. But I realized too that I have a little bit of a shoulder impingement in my left side, which I'm left-hand dominant, but I do more pressing and not enough pulling. So when I go for my upper body day, I try to really focus on the lacrosse ball, really loosening up my pec major and minor, but also loosening up the traps, the lats, deltoids a little bit too to get this moving better. and then really like focus on the workout. So
Yeah.
definitely, I would say mix it up a little bit if you can, just to give your body a new challenge, get the brain firing. That's part of the important thing too in that dynamic warm up is you're not only moving through that new range now, we're trying to keep it, but we're also trying to like wake the body up all over. So we're really trying to get the brain active as well.
I think, kind of think of it as the same way as if you're doing a workout, say you kind of go through that same plan, you know, you're doing the same exercises. Once you change the exercise, even if you're doing the same muscle, it's going to feel different a little bit because it's just you're training it a different way. So kind of think about that the same way as you're doing a warm-up. Yeah, you can keep it the same, but it'll also keep you interested if you change it up a little bit too.
Keep it exciting and fresh, and who knows, you might find a new move that you even love more than another one that you've been doing, and you can always mix it up and bring some of those oldie but goodies back in.
Yeah.
But just give yourself a variety and make it fun.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that's it for the day.
Yay. Thank you, Allison. We appreciate your comment.
Yeah, awesome. Word of the day today is uplift. Hopefully we uplifted y'all a little bit today. Hopefully you have a great, fantastic Friday. And email me that word of the day. I will comment my email in the comments. And yeah, y'all have a great day.
Happy Friday.
See
See
ya.
you next time.